Hi, my name is Brandon and this is my first video. This video is to remind whoever's watching that you are strong enough. Whatever challenge you're facing, whatever is coming to you soon that you feel like is going to be hard for you to overcome, from reasons, obviously God can help you get through it, and I'm living proof of that. Um, my intentions for making this video and potentially more videos is to help you through my experiences from what I went through. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And people hear that a lot, and sometimes it's easy to scoff and say, I've heard that all the time. But seriously, if I, with what I went through, if I can do it, you can do it. Like, I guarantee it. Um, this is just meant to be encouragement. This is meant to be help for people that are wondering what's next, what decisions to make, where they're headed, who they need to look for. God is the answer. God is the answer. I've looked all throughout my whole life for other things, for worldly things, and they've never helped me overcome what God has helped me overcome. Um, for example, my mental health, my problems with alcohol, my problems with marijuana, my problems with sex addiction, childhood trauma, um, videos on the internet that are gory, like ones that leave a unique space in your head that you shouldn't have seen it, and it feels like, to me at least, I was kind of there. It really affects me. The grieving process, weight gaining and weight loss, taking accountability, and reminding me that all the mistakes I've made are forgiven. They're all forgiven. God forgives. He cares about you. With my mental health, I've suffered anxiety my whole life. It wasn't until the last, I'm 37 now. I didn't really realize I had it, or maybe I was in denial I had it until I was about maybe my late 20s, early 30s. Depression, to an extent, because when I'm sad, usually there's a reason. So it's hard to distinguish if I'm sad for no reason or if I'm sad because of my situation. And this was before I really dug deep to find God. Anger problems, feeling empty, thoughts of unaliving myself. I've had those thoughts. I've even tried to. I was there. I almost got to the point where I wouldn't even be making this video today. Um, to cope with those things, include which the childhood trauma aspect, I didn't realize was a thing until the last couple of years, to where I felt neglected as a child. I not only felt neglected, but when I reached out for, if I had questions, if I wanted to feel like I mattered, it was it was almost like I was made to feel inferior or stupid, and that really left a it took a toll on me. It it made me question myself. My confidence levels went way down. My self esteem was horrible. I'm still working on it, but I am so much better because of God. Um, Marijuana use. I'm 37 now. It was to a point for basically 18 years of my life I used marijuana daily. And I fell into the trap of, oh, it's just weed. Oh, it's not addictive. Oh, if, so and so does it, then I can do it, because it doesn't do it. It does. It's addictive, emotionally, maybe not physically, but there are symptoms that I've experienced from being sober. I am 100% sober today. And it just, it was like a mask. It made problems go away that would always come back. It made it feel like they went away, but they were still there. And without dealing with those issues, they're going to come back and stronger. Same with alcohol. I was the stereotypical high schooler where, on the weekends, I think the first drink, like where I actually drank to get drunk, I was probably 14-ish. Like, that's not a time to be drinking. That is not an age to start drinking. They have age 21 for a reason, not only because of the mistakes younger people make while they're drinking or just not drinking. It's because your body's not done developing. So, especially your brain. It got to the point where even in a life that people would give anything for, I was drinking basically daily to the point where I did start to drink daily. And towards the end, I felt like I had to hide the drinking because I felt ashamed. Um, it's a good reason why I lost a lot of things that mattered to me. Um, it When I said marijuana masked my thoughts and emotions, alcohol really helped. It just felt like everything went away, but it would always be worse the next day. Every time I'd wake up, feel like junk, get throughout my day, almost get back to normal where I'd feel good, and then the feeling was, you know what, I feel good, I'm going to drink again so I can keep feeling good. But everyone knows after you have those first couple drinks, if you're drinking to get drunk, you're kind of trying to stay in that mode where you feel good. So you're drinking to stay there, and you can't just stay there. The more drinks you have, the more dehydrated you get, the more malnourished you get, you just start to feel like junk. It's just the way it is. Um, Moving on to sex addiction. The P word, the 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 videos that people should not be watching. The first time I saw a video of people getting together or stuff like that, I was 5 years old. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Um, Nowadays with phones and social media, it's everywhere. It's people use photos, videos of people's bodies to sell. That's just the way it is because they know it'll work. That is a number one way of getting people. That's the one of the top ways Satan gets people. Men are attracted to women, and women are attracted to men. When men especially see like videos of women that they're exposed to a certain extent, there's a thought that goes through most men's minds that, wow, that's nice to look at, and then that's where lust comes in. And I've had a problem with the P word, and I've had a problem with lust. Those two things go together very well, because the P word made me think that lusting was okay, and lust is an absolute sin. So it would get me to think of women like they were objects, and that's not fair. I don't think any one of you would want to be looked at as an object. It had me eventually, it got to the point where I started looking at stuff that I would never look at because I developed like I needed that rush, kind of. It was like and there are tons of videos on here that can explain it. I'm no professional, but it's like, well, I'm going to look at this, I'm going to look at this, I'm going to look at this, and every time afterwards there was shame and guilt involved. that's one of the main reasons I'm making this. I'm trying to get people to realize you don't need that. The best thing out there is relationships with people. Um, Sex is not what you should be striving for in life. First, you should seek God. You should seek people who are on the same level as you. And, you know, not everyone is the same. Not everyone has the same beliefs. But sex and marriage go together very well. You don't need the P word to speed the process up, to start objectifying women and start basing off of what you're seeing is how it should be. It's its own thing, and it's a beautiful thing. Um, to the back to the childhood trauma, I think where that got me most, that bothered me, was I started to be who I thought people wanted me to be. I started masking. I started. It's almost like I tried to blend in the best I could. I didn't want to stand out, but I didn't want to be so non talkative and so out of touch that I would stand out. So I had to be, just right in the middle. Um, I was never necessarily bullied in school, but I've dealt with bullying. Like I feel like a lot of people have, and it's unfortunate. Um, with the masking came coping, because I'd want to go home and just kind of unwind from masking, kind of take a break from being an actor all day. Not necessarily acting like someone completely different, but like putting on a show of me that wasn't completely who I was, that wasn't authentic. Um, and with my experience with my family at the time, my parents were divorced. The parent I was living with they had problems. They would gaslight me about those problems. Um, which leads me to the next thing, which is the grieving process. I've had a lot of issues dealing with grieving because I didn't want to accept that there's death. I didn't want to accept at the time that there's potentially no chance of me seeing those people again. These are all things God has helped me with. I mean, my grandma meant the world to me, along with other family members that I've unfortunately lost. But God is taking care of them. I know I'll see them again. That has helped me significantly. Um, I even miss my pets that have passed. I mean, I love animals. I grew up with cats. Uh, they just are great companions. I love dog. I mean, I love all animals, but cats and dogs are great. Um, Another part of the grieving process, dealing with breakups, especially like I was talking about my alcohol problem. I was living with an ex at the time who I at the time knew and still feel like a little bit that was my person. People know what I'm talking about when you meet your person. Uh, they just they it's like the puzzle piece that's missing. It's like they fit perfectly. Everything feels right. So not only am I not with her anymore, I had to deal with the feelings of it, because it was, no one wants to be around someone that has a problem and they don't want to fix it, especially if it's affecting them to every day. She comes home and I'm either drinking or I'm smoking or I'm using videos to to keep me from giving her attention. Watching, videos I shouldn't have really affects intimacy. And I know a lot of men can relate. It's why would you ever want to choose what's on a screen over real relationships? And when I was doing it, at times I felt like that was the right choice, and it wasn't. And I'm clear-minded enough now to where I see that. Another one was, I've been a decently fit person my whole life, but going through tough times, I kind of gave up on myself. I'm just under 6'1". I'm 6'1.5" ish. Right now I weigh 200 pounds, which is a decent weight. I got up to 265 pounds, and it was all from drinking and binge eating and trying to use food kind of as a mask too. It was poor me, I don't care about myself, so I'm going to eat whatever I want, drink as much as I want, excessive calories, gluttony. In about a year span ish, not a year span, but in the last 3 or 4 years, I gained 60, 70 pounds, and I lost 60, 70 pounds. That's not healthy to do. I'm glad I'm at a weight now to where I feel comfortable, and I need to get better at working out again. I haven't been the best at that, but it feels good. And, your body deserves to, the way you treat your body reflects on the way you feel about yourself. And that's a big part of what affects my self-esteem for the better. Which the next one was accountability. All those things I talked about, instead of blaming them all on outside sources, taking accountability for all of it changed my life. It's all the mistakes I've made. Yes, there are outside factors that may have caused them, but I chose to make those decisions. Like, no one forced me to do any of those things. No one forced me to drink. No one forced me to smoke. No one forced me to look at videos I shouldn't have looked at. The childhood trauma wasn't forced. It probably was caused by unresolved childhood trauma from themselves. And I'm actually still working on that. Same with like the gore videos. It's the same thing as the videos of people, lack of a better word, mating. I shouldn't be exposed to stuff like that, especially at such a young age. It's curiosity has killed parts of me to where I'm still healing today, and I'm not meaning to laugh about it because it's a serious thing. God has forgiven me. I've repented, and God's forgiven me for all of the sins I've made. And He will for you too. He will. You just have to search, read His Word, and you'll find it. Anything. This brings to what did I start doing to overcome all these obstacles? Because obviously they weren't all overcame in a day. I started to pray. I started seeking God more. I started asking questions. I came to Him as myself because He knows what you're thinking. He knew about you before you were born. He knows what He wants for you. He knows what's best for you. But we have free will, and that's great that He gave that to us. So we have to follow Him. He knows what's best for us. And I didn't take that serious up till now. Luckily, I have now, but I wasted many years trying to find happiness with earthly things when God was the answer the whole time. When I was a kid, I had the Beginner's Bible with pictures all throughout. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. I I read that numerous times. I've always believed there was a God. When I went through grieving of my grandma, it was when I kind of got off track and started questioning and looking for answers in places that I couldn't find them and thought that I could find them. Um, Not only reading the Bible, but the Bible app. Uh, Hallow's a great app. Apps that speak the word, gives you perspective, lets you listen, lets you get immersed. Videos of the show The Chosen's great. Gives you. I'm a visual person. I love putting names to faces, especially when I'm reading books. I like to picture what's going on in the book, and I can kind of make a movie in my head, but when I see it, it's set in stone, and it helps me process the information better. Um, Personally, right now, I'm reading the NIV version of the Bible. I know there are a lot of people that, for some reason, have strong opinions on what type of Bible you're reading. There are strange, from someone that doesn't know too much about it, I've heard there are strange versions of the Bible, but the NIV is very popular. It's easy to interpret, it's easy to read. I have a copy of the King James Version and the Amplified version, and Amplified's great, but for some reason I have a study Bible, the NIV version, and it's smooth. I can retain the information. It's great. I highly recommend it. On top of praying and reading the Bible, and from becoming sober from the help of God, He introduced me to hobbies that I didn't even know I could enjoy or do. In the last couple months, realized that I like to paint. I like to draw. Um, I really like to play the guitar, even though I have a long way to go, and I think I need to just keep going at it for some reason. Sometimes I want to be better at something quicker than I should, so I need to start playing it more. But it's so fun learning an instrument from someone who learned to play the trumpet in 6th grade. It's fun to play the guitar. Those are just a few things that are new that I like. Before that, I really enjoyed making beats. I've made beats on software like Reason and GarageBand. I started making beats when I was probably 19 years old, maybe a little bit before, and it's whether they're good or not, it's fun to express yourself through artistic ways, and making music, whether it be electronically or playing an instrument, like my soul feels, it helps my soul feel better. If that makes any sense. Another thing I did to overcome was watching YouTube videos, just like the one I'm making right now. I've searched out specifically problems I've had to deal with, and I've found very, very helpful videos on dealing with addictions, traumas, anything. YouTube is, you basically can learn anything on YouTube if you search it and you find someone credible enough, someone with experience, someone that's been through it. I also am seeing a therapist once a week, which helps significantly as well. Listening to music is a game changer as well. I fully immerse myself into music. It feels good to. Everyone knows, you have your type of music, and that feeling you get when it hits right there in your soul. And I'm learning as I get older, my music preferences have kind of been solidified, but I'm still pretty open, and I'm a big classic rock type of person, but I also like other types of music as well. It kind of introduced me to singing. As much as I'd be scared to death to sing in front of a bunch of people, it's fun to sing. It's fun to let it all out. Um, I did take notes here, so forgive me if I have to turn the page. Uh, so the purpose of this video, and I hope to make more and be more in depth, this is just kind of an intro video, was to solidify that I am a new person because of God. I am completely, I'm not in the chain. I don't feel chained anymore. I feel like I'm free. I'm following God's word. He's showing me the way. There's good times and there's bad times. And I always say you wouldn't know what good times are without the bad, and you wouldn't know what bad times are without the good. I'm also a big believer of if you're not growing, you're dying. Meaning, if you're not growing as a person and trying to get better and work on yourself in areas that need work on, you're kind of just waiting to get through life. It's like a flower. If it's not growing, it's technically dying. I promise if you search for Jesus, he will help you get through this. I am a walking testimony. I mean, I'm not even all the way through everything, and I feel like I've been blessed beyond. I feel like I don't deserve it at this point, but God keeps assuring me I do, and I'm, for the rest of my life, going to prove to him, even though he accepts me as I am, that I am very thankful for what he's done for me. If you seek him, he will help you. Like I said before, I still have a lot of work to do. No one's perfect except Jesus. But nothing can stop my growing. I will always seek to be a better person. And God by my side with his unconditional love is motivation that I'd never really had before. The unconditional love means more to me than any earthly possessions. I mean, unconditional love is so underrated. Thanks for listening to my first video or watching, and I hope to make more videos going more in depth about the stuff I talked about. And if you made it to this video and you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and remember, you can do anything. You can get through anything. You just have to remember God will be there for you no matter what. He will be. Just search for him and he will be there. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys soon.